What you doing?
Hello. Hello, hello. Good morning. Oh, hold on. There we go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Happy time zone. How we doing? How are we doing? Hello, Harry. Ah. Hello, Keldon. How was Thanksgiving? Thanksgiving was fine. A little bit hectic. We have to run around to 2 separate Thanksgivings in the same day, so very full after yesterday. Came home with big old plate of leftovers and a ton of dessert, which I am really excited about. There's like almost 2 whole pies in the refrigerator right now. And like, what else? Cheesecake as well. And turkey and mashed potatoes and cranberry sauce, all that stuff too. But most importantly, dessert. I just finished my leftovers as the stream was starting. Very nice. That should fuel you through the day. Yeah, we'll probably get 1 dinner between me and my partner out of the leftovers we brought home. And I'll be eating pie for the foreseeable future. And I wouldn't have it any other way. But guys, if we survive today, tomorrow is thadathon, which I'm excited. Are you excited? I'm excited to do all the scary hardcore Minecraft stuff. Which, hold on, let me pin that message. There we go. That's the details for thadathon. Tomorrow, starting at 9 a.m. Provided we don't die today, we're gonna start doing all the scary things. We're gonna have a raid. We're gonna fight the dragon. We're gonna fight a wither. Now, this is all bearing in mind that I have to survive the first things to get to the second, third, fourth things. It might all end in the first 20 minutes. Who knows? But you guys will have control over what happens. You can affect it. You can extend the stream, make it a longer stream up to 12 hours. You get to decide if we want to spin the fancy wheel that I figured out how to set up with all the debuffs. You can also take away the debuffs or decrease the timer. So the possibilities are endless. For all we know, I'm going to start the stream. Somebody's going to donate $60 and we'll just be done. Because we're starting out with a 2-hour timer. Once we reach 2 hours, we start doing all the crazy things. Thadathon! And we also now have a Discord. I made one. It's the first Discord I ever made. It might be a mess. I don't know. I hope that I set it up semi-correctly. If not entirely correctly, I'd take partially correct at this point. So, yeah, if you'd like to come hang out on Discord, there's a link now. If not, it'll just be me and Jules sharing cat pictures with each other. That's how I anticipate that going. So, yeah. I think it all looks correct to me. Yay! I've never set up a Discord before, so yeah. Oh my gosh. Did someone Keldon's here. Keldon joined the Discord. Now it's me, Jules, and Keldon. Okay, should we get going here? We've got a lot to do for tomorrow. I have a list. So, if we make it to tomorrow and we don't die in preparing for tomorrow, because we have to do a few things that are a little scary, like getting gas tears for the end crystals so that we can summon the dragon. We need 4 end crystals, which means we need 4 gas tears, and 4 Eye of Ender and some glass. For the wither fight, if we get to the wither fight, we're gonna need 3 wither skulls, so we have to go kill a bunch of withers. and some soul sand, which I think we have. We also want to find a decent place to do the raid, a decent village that's not like terrible to traverse. Looking for something nice, flat, safe, that kind of thing. So we've got to prepare for the raid by finding a village and also getting some leaves, because what I understand is that the mobs can't spawn in on leaves. So between waves of the raid, we'll climb up into our little leaf tower and hang out there until the things spawn in. I think that's how we should do it. So yeah, we need to find a village for that. We need gas tears. We need wither skulls. And then we gotta brew some like potions. We'll also need some wool in case we actually make it to our last thing, which will be going to an ancient city and raiding that. And we'll need a couple cartographer villagers because we need maps for a trial chamber and a mansion. We could just go out in the world and try to find one ourselves, but that'll take a lot of time. So that's everything we got to work on today, and also food and rockets. We'll need plenty of that. I was thinking that I needed a new place to install chaos. Wonderful, Calvin. Wonderful. Just keep it semi-PG, please. I think I set up the rules accordingly. Keep topics and language PG-13. No excessive swearing. That sort of thing. So as long as your chaos is PG-13 chaos, we're good. We're good. We want this to be like a generally all ages community, just like the stream. I don't really swear too much on here, but it happens every once in a while, and no promises for tomorrow. No promises for how tomorrow will go. You can still instill a lot of chaos with those guidelines, Kelvin. I believe in you. PG adjacent. Like I said, you can swear around here. Just don't be excessive about it. And don't be gross. And obviously slurs and stuff are off the table. That's like my general. Just be kind. Don't be a jerk. Don't be a jerk. Why are ads starting? Why? Why do I bother running ads when the starting soon screen's up? Why do I even bother? Well, there's an incoming ad break, and I'm not taking a break because we just started. We haven't even gotten into things here. I think I posted to all the places. So, oh, we also have Blue Sky now. I have a Blue Sky. So now I have to post in so many places because I posted in the Bedrock Legends Discord that I'm going live. I posted in my own new Discord that I'm going live. I post to my Instagram story. I post to Blue Sky. Oh, I think I posted in maybe Joe's Discord too. I'm losing count. There's too many places. It took me the whole like 10 minutes of the starting soon screen. We have all the things now. You're on the go. That's totally fine, Jules. I understand. I appreciate your presence in any way, shape, or form I can get it. I hope that your day is going well. And if you are dealing with the general population today, whether it be for Black Friday or for your job, or just because, you know, sometimes we have to go into public even if we don't want to, I wish you luck. I wish everybody dealing with the general population luck. You also joined Blue Sky this week? Cool. I think a lot of people are joining in over there. I'd seen it for a while. Finally caved a few days ago. I'm still a little confused by it. It's different. I need to find people, and that's proving to be a little difficult. So yeah. We'll get into it. But yeah, we have that now. We have Discord now. We have Pencils now. Hi, Pencils. Hi, Pencils. How are you? I hope everybody had a lovely Thursday. Whether that Thursday was a Thanksgiving or a holiday or not a holiday. I hope yesterday was very nice for everybody. And that you got to eat some good food at the very least. Shall we get into this? Gonna go light black frosty shopping in a bit. Frosty? Frosty. Like the Wendy's treats? I like those. I like Frosties. Friday, yeah. No, I knew what you meant, but Frosties are better. Phone. Well, you know, autocorrect doesn't always work too great. Why does my phone not just know actually what I'm trying to say instead of making its own words? Why, phone? Thought you're supposed to be a smartphone. No, that's not the world we're going into. I'm avoiding hardcore, apparently. Autopilot, I clicked onto the box. Can I not? Can we go back? Can I get back to the menu? Let's go. Come on. What's taking so long? I wonder where I logged out. I think I was in the general mob farm area. Yep. Gunpowder. Okay, we're done. Anyone on? Nope, gonna be just me to start. Are we all staying hydrated today? Is everybody drinking their water? It's very important. Sorry, we're in an ad break. Oh, wrong thing. Didn't mean to click that. Was just trying to darken this a little bit. Where's camera? Configure. Please be slightly less bright. Thank you. There we go. All right, how shall we begin? We need... Okay, we got all our shulkers. Let's put everything in these shulkers away, because I'm going to use these shulkers for each of the things we're doing. We're going to put stuff for each of the various things we got to do in these shulkers. So we're going to put stuff away. So I've got some mob drops in here. Put the bones there. And the bone meal, sure. We can take all the moss. All the mossy things. Is there more moss? More moss. And more moss. Oh, carpets. I want the lanterns in here. Okay, I think that's all the moss stuff. Oop, that's the door. Boop. Where were we putting all the moss related items? This isn't gonna be enough room. That's netherrack. That's dirt and grass. Too much stuff. One of these has to be moss. We'll swap this stuff out with this. And dripstone can go in here instead. Do. Where was I just putting this? Here. Up, up, up. Okay, that's that. What else we got? We've got a bunch of mud. And a bunch of stone. And some dirt blocks. And some wood, which belongs in here? Nope. Just kidding. That we can put in here. Bear with me as we collect all our items. Oh, look, this is also a mess. We've got a lot of organizing to do here before we wrap things up. Can I sleep? Is it dark enough to sleep yet? There we go. Yep. Alright. Let's just take all of this stuff. We got a bunch of mud. What's all in here? Oh, coral. Okay. Boop. Soul soil. Where was the mud? Mud. Mud bricks. Okay, so we'll put all the muddy related things here. Got a bunch of dirt. Stone, diorite, tough. All this can just be thrown in here. I'm gonna put all the mossy stones together though. Guess we'll put those in here. Hello, Matt. I hope your pre-Christmas meal was good and that you're fully rested for thadathon, thadathon, thadathon. This Saturday, Saturday, Saturday. For full details, contact your local thad. Oh, I love that. I love it. I hope that you're doing well. We're prepping for thadathon. We gotta survive today. Gotta survive today, first and foremost. Prepping for thadathon is not the safest thing we'll be doing. Alright, let's put all the grass and that together. Is there more grass? More grass. Alright. Let's just do this. Is there more dirt? Alright, all the dirt. Or most of the dirt. Put all the stone. Take all the dirt. Put all the andesite. Slabs. That. We'll take this. Put all this together. Alright. We're getting there. You collect a lot of stuff when you're building. So much stuff. That's empty. Grass and dirt. And nether wart. And oh god, where are we gonna put the terracotta? Oh, this stuff can go in. Void where prohibited restrictions apply. Hi, Iron Knight. How are you? Happy Friday. I hope you're doing well. Dirt. Grass. Grass. We're getting organized here. Or trying to, anyway. There we go. Okay, now I can see which ones we're actually working with here. Anything for in here? Anything? Where's my moss? Where'd I put all the moss? Found it. And I don't know why we're putting the seeds here, but that's one of the places we're putting those. Alright, this is nether related stuff. Nether stuff. And we've got some terracotta. Where do we want to put the terracotta? Doesn't really make sense, but we'll put it with the snow. Sure, why not? Why not? Had to get out of my food coma to go to work today. Oof. Yeah, I understand that. I hope that you had a good day yesterday. Hello, Sky. Hello, hello. Good morning. How are we all doing? Are we all having a nice Friday so far? We're just organizing here. I want to get my life together before we start going out and getting all the things we need for thadathon. See the pinned message for further details. Tomorrow we're doing all the scary stuff. If we survive preparing to do all the scary stuff, that is. We gotta get through today in order to get to tomorrow. You know, just like life. That's kind of how it works. So we've got goals. We've got goals. All right, this can go here. This. Grass blocks. I'll just put that with that. Oh, we got dirt. And I don't think all this stuff's gonna fit in here. Nope. All right, what are we taking out? I guess we'll take out the regular mossy cobble. That can go somewhere. Oh, the mud bricks can go with the rest of the mud. Super exciting stuff happening here. All right, and all of... Wait, what? Where'd this come from? All right. It's not fully organized, but it's a little bit. We're getting there. All right, all the ocean-related stuff. And what is all this? Bunch of mob drops, it looks like, and some... Oh, there's the hay bales I was looking for. Those away. Oh, I can have my bundles back now. Life is good. Nope, I can't. This is full? What can we take out? The 4 lone and the sticks. There we go. All right, all the coral stuff we'll put together. Down here. Not with the nether stuff, not with the mud. That's trees. Okay, I guess we'll stick it in this chest. That. And what do we want to do with the terracotta now? Oh, with the bamboo, sure, why not? Why not? And that, oh, and the pickle's gotta go with the coral, which was here. Okay. 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 So it's empty. Nope, not yet. I feel like all the buckets can go together. Oh, these... I guess those can stay here. I have so much stuff. How did I accumulate so much stuff in just, like, not even 30 days? How? How did this happen? How? Put that with that for now. Alright, mob drops. Boop, boop, boop. I had bowl in here somewhere. Where was the random bowls? There, okay. I guess I'll put this in here. This is like assorted things. Where do I put this? And which barrel had the coal in it? Did any of these? There it is. Okay. All right, what else? What else? Nothing in that one. That one's empty. What's in here? Some blocks. That's empty now. And that one's empty. Hey, that actually wasn't as bad as I expected it to be. Yeah, the litter bugs definitely contributed to all the stuff I ended up with. Can't deny that. Click. There we go. And this can go there. All right, let's put all the cobble in one spot. Oh, we ended up with a lot of tuff. Like, more than I would have needed, I think. Oh, give me that back. Can the stairs fit here? No? Too many stairs? Too many blocks. Fine. Stay there. Alright, good enough. Good enough. Now let's fix the ender chest a little bit so we have a little room to work in here. We can... Let's make, I guess, a valuables. This can be like the emeralds, this stuff, the diamonds. And should we put the rockets in there too? Well, maybe keep one stack in here. Extras in here. We need to make more rockets, definitely. Shulker shells can go in here. Do I have any chests? Do I have 4, like, chests I can put in here with that? I got 1. We can make more. Oh, that was more than 4. Which is fine. Alright, so that's extra shulkers if we need them along the way. Now I can fit the empty ones in here, which is nice. Random tools. We should probably enchant that elytra so we don't have to deal with waiting for the elytra to try to repair the elytra, I mean. Put that there. There's carrots. We got our helmet. What else do we got? Oh, I didn't put the emeralds away. Diamonds, emeralds. Okay, we've got some extra coal in here for torches we're probably not going to need. We've got more coal here than I know what to do with. Hey, why can't I fit this anymore? What? That was weird. It was like glitched. Hey, Faust. Hello, hello, hello. How are you? Oh, right on the edge of the leaf pile. I thought you had it. Thought you had it. But happy Friday to you. Just gonna get my blanket. There we go. What else can we do here? We've got an extra pickaxe. We've got a boat. I guess I'll put this stuff in this valuable. Oh, nope, not like that. That's not how you put stuff into the shulker, believe it or not. All right, that should be good. We can just stick this in here now. That's all extra stuff. I think we should make one that'll have potions in it because we're gonna need potentially water breathing, maybe invisibility, I don't know. Fire resistance. Maybe some strength potions. I don't even know if we have the stuff to brew all these potions, but that's one of the things we should do today is try to brew some potions. But before we do that, I think we're going into the nether. I think we're going to start with trying to get the gas tears and the wither skulls because those are the 2 most dangerous things we're going to have to do today. And if we die during that, then what's the point of preparing for the rest of thadathon? I really hope we get to have thadathon. But first, we must survive. First, we have to make it. We've got to get there. All right, we're going to put the chest plate on the hotbar. We're gonna keep a pickaxe handy, axe bows. We've got arrows. I don't have any blocks anymore. I put all the blocks away. So let's grab like a stack of cobble. Okay. Let's grab... I should make some more golden apples. What do we have for gold and apples? That'll be good to prepare. We've got 12 apples. What do we have for gold, folks? How many can we make with this? All right, so let's turn all that. We can make 10. Oh, wait. 12. And we have 2 pieces of gold to spare. Do we have any gold that we could break down? Just in case. Let's sleep real quick. Oh, goodness. What's happening? Queued drop game, folks. We've got a queued drop game coming in. Queuedrop. That's how you spell queue drop, in case you were wondering. Get your drops in. Just put exclamation point drop along with an emote of your choice. I will demonstrate. Just like that. Follow my lead, and in a few minutes, we'll all drop together. Hello? Okay. Oh, wrong button. Set timer 5 minutes. Thank you very much. And we will pin this message for 5 minutes. 5. Okay. That should be good. Get out of here. I don't need to see that anymore. The alarm will go off in about 5 minutes and we'll all drop together. So feel free to get your drops in the meantime. I'm going to go outside and break these gold blocks real quick. How are we doing on time? We're 42 minutes into stream. It's only 10 o'clock. Okay, we're good. We're good. All right, let's just pillar up right here. Is this my silk touch or my... There we go. Who's in the drops? We've got Faust. We've got Keldon. We've got Iron Knight. We've got Sky. We've got Jules and Matt. Look at that. Everybody's getting in on the drops. I love it. All right. Fortune. We're just going to smelt this down in case we need more gold for something. Just in case. There we go. Meow, meow. All right, we'll break that. Was it exactly 64? Okay. Oh, we got a little copper. Now we have plenty of apples. They're not enchanted, but they're apples. Oh my god. That was loud. Thank you, Jules. Thank you. Alright, we got rockets, we've got carrots, we've got a bucket. I can put this away. Do we have enough? Do I have more obsidian? I just want to make... Oh, yes we do. Okay. Let's make a couple more chests. Wait, no, that's not how we make these. We use this, which we're gonna need 4 of these for the what you call it, end crystals. That's what you call it. So we don't want to use all of them, but I want to make a couple extra ender chests. Also, I don't need 5 of these. Let's just put 2 of those in there. I don't know where we'll put the other 3. Maybe just in here for now. Okay, I was gonna make 2 ender chests. I should have... We have 2 in there. We'll keep 1 inside the ender chest, just in case. Don't ask. Don't ask why we're doing it this way. That's what we're doing. This can go back in here. Alright, good enough. We've got apples. We've got this. Oh, fire resistance. I want to actually keep some of the fire resistance. What did I put in here? We only have 1 blaze powder in there. We'll keep this on our hotbar too.
What you doing?
What you doing? We are preparing to go to the Nether. We're preparing to go to the Nether so that we can get gas tears and wither skulls. Because I figure let's start with the dangerous stuff. If we don't survive the dangerous stuff today, there's no point in preparing for all the dangerous stuff tomorrow. Because thadathon relies on us staying alive. Also, I don't need a bucket of water because we can't use that in the Nether. Get our chest plate at the ready. Okay, I think we're good. We got helmet on. We got gold. We got our wings. At some point, I want to go grab a mending book and an unbreaking 3 book for the other set of wings, so we are prepared for tomorrow and don't have to worry about repairing stuff when we're out and about too much. The last thing we want is to be stranded somewhere waiting for like mobs to spawn in or something. That doesn't sound very exciting. So we're going to the Nether. Should we take a quick fly over everything that looks amazing? Look at this. Look at that dragon. Look at that tree. How's the collection coming along? Let's take a little look at the horde of items here. I believe whoop, a lot of it has been taken care of. Oh my goodness. Oh, that's our timer for the queue drop game. Everybody got their drops in? Everybody got their drops in? Okay, so we need 6, 7, 8. So there's 20 discs now. We need Relic, Pig Step, and Creator. Creator's my favorite. Do we have the Creator music disc one? I think that's this one. Oh, it doesn't say when you hold it? Do I have to look at it? Yeah, the music box one. So that's the things we need there. Looks like we need some of the banner patterns still. Got a couple of the heads. Just a couple of the trims missing. People have been busy. People have been very busy. All right, let's go to the portal. Is that where the goats were being? I think the goat. Yep. Okay. Hi, Zeri. Hello, hello. Happy Friday. Zeri, we're going to the Nether. We're going to the Nether, and I'm sure it'll be fine. Nothing to worry about. Nothing to worry about. But we gotta prepare for thadathon. Can you believe this is where we started? Can you believe this was our little house? There's nothing in here anymore. Just some junk tools and a few blocks. How far we've come. This Lois Tower is really cool. Oh my god. Yep, that's me, Keldon. Hold on. We're gonna do the drop. Welcome to my brain. All right, we're safe here. We're fine here. We're dropping. Okay. And I was supposed to play hardcore Minecraft? Just kidding. We've been doing that for 29 days. All right, we ready? We ready? We're dropping. Last call. Get your drops in. Exclamation point. Drop in an emote. Let's go. Okay, that's too much energy. I'm sorry. All right, we're dropping. In. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Here we go, folks. We're dropping. Oh, someone came flying in out of the corner there. Oh, we got some chaos bits. Thank you, Zeri. Adding some chaos to the mix. What'll happen? What'll happen? Who will land? Will no one land? Guess we'll have to wait and find out. Oh gosh. Oh gosh. People are getting bumped around. Am I getting in the... Ah, I landed. Keldon landed. Who else? Anyone else? Come on, Sky. Get in there. Get in there. No! So close. Ooh, I hear scary sounds. Scary sounds happening. Me and Keldon. Keldon's the winner here. Clappies, clappies, everyone. Clappies for Keldon. And a little bit for me. I landed. But Keldon landed better. Good job, everyone. Good job indeed. I love that. That brings me so much joy. Look at that little face in the leaves. Look at it. Alright, 1 second. I'm just gonna change one quick thing here. Yeah, that looks worse. Oh, no. I'm just gonna leave it like that. There we go. Okay. Gas tears and wither skulls. Gas tears and wither skulls. This way, I think. To the... Where is... Where? Where would there be creepers? In the nether mat. Huh? Where? Where? There's no creepers here. There's no creepers here. How dare. What's supposed to be here? My chest plate. Why'd I not have that? Oh, let's actually put that on. We're not flying anywhere yet. It's still a pretty loud noise, so yeah, it did scare me. It did scare me. Which actually... I turned the sounds up a little bit. Oh my goodness. There we go. Danger, blaze ahead. We probably should get a little bit of blaze powder. I think we might need a little bit to make the Eyes of Ender for the end crystals. There's a cat hair or something, or my own hair stuck to my face somewhere. It's gonna drive me nuts. Okay, we got our looting sword. Do I have any sharpness on this axe? Ooh, just 2. Sharpness 2. We might want to upgrade the axe. Okay. Adding to my list. Alright, there is a blaze spawner, like, right here. Should we try to get a few blaze rods? Actually, you know what? I take that back. Did I just get 4 blaze rods from that one guy? How? Alright, this is what I was looking for. Alright, we're gonna have way too many blaze rods now, because... apparently we get a ton at once. 10 of them! Okay! You know what? I'll take these blocks just in case. Thank you, Zeroed, for littering. There's a guy. Zeroed cleared the sow, made it bigger, so there's more room for them to spawn, and make it easier for us to fight the blazes, so might as well put that to work for a second. Get a few more blaze rods. Okay, that's probably plenty. 14, yeah, that's more than we're gonna need. Alright, now we need some wither skulls, which we can get the wither skulls in here. We also need to be careful not to accidentally hit any piglins. And we're gonna set up a bunch of these just in case. I like to have places to run. And the wither skulls are tall boys. Wither skeletons, rather. Why are there so many blazes? Oh, stop it. Oh, stop it, you. Catching me on fire. The nerve. The nerve of this guy. Alright, I'm just gonna do that. There we go. Alright, there should be some wither skeletons around here. Where are they? Where are you? I am a baby. Hello? Wither skellies? Hello? Oops, I keep putting them on the wrong level. Hello? That's just an empty chest. Alright, I'm trying to be brave. There's one. Alright, oh, two. There's two. Okay, let me just make sure they can't get through here. Hello, wither skellies. Come here, please. Friends? Oh, friend. Hi, friend. Hi, friend. Oh, no. Oh, no. Not friend. Not friend. Rude. Very rude. Very rude. More over there. Okay. I'm quickly running out of blocks. Maybe we should switch to the netherrack. Put that out. Alright, nobody here? Nobody else here? Anybody over here? Hello? No, not you. Not you. You go away. This place is bigger than I thought. Okay, none over here. Does this just keep going? End of the road. Magma cubes, sounds like. You know what? We'll kill you. I could use a few more magma for potions. Or not. Alright, there's some lava. Can we just block that off? Yeah? Oh, we might need more nether wart. Oh, and we need this for the things, I think. Oh, too many. Too many. Too many. Too many. Oh. Oh, hi. 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 We should probably eat. No, I'll take the iron. I should really put the gold, the diamond horse armor we have on the horse that we have. Anybody down here? Is this the end of the road? End of the road. That's fine. Let's see if we find any withers skeletons on the way back. Pretty scary out here. I think I'm gonna take this soul sand. Soul soil, whatever it is. Because we need it for the wither. And I have some, but, you know, could always use more. I hear people. People, I mean piglins. Okay, there's you. Alright, you're just a regular skelly. No, that's fine. I can fight you. Get wrecked. You too. Oh, and you. What's so funny over there? What's so funny?
Yeah. Okie dokie.
What's so funny? What's with the evil laughter? Where are all the wither skeletons? Have we been in here? No reason? That makes me nervous. I don't believe you. Oh, there's some wither skellies. Okay. Alright, we should be safe in here. Come here. Come here, friends. Okay. We're gonna take that guy out. Oh. I wanted to use my sword on you guys. My bad. Nope, none yet. Okay, what's over here? Any wither skellies? Huh? There's a bunch of blazes. There's an upstairs, but I don't really want to go. Alright, let's take a second. Actually, my inventory is totally fine. I thought I needed more space. We don't. We just gotta wait and kill. Wait and kill. Wonder what's up here, if anything. Oh. There's a wither skelly. Are you stuck over there? Can you not get to me? Alright, everybody over here. Found all the wither skull. Oh! I think we got a skull! I think we got our first skull. Oh my god, there's so many of them! We got our first wither skull. Alright, eat some food. Oh, great. Am I gonna have to delete the Discord before it's even begun? Huh? I feel like that's what's going on here. Hey guys, come over here. Come here. Come here, bud. Come here. Give me your skull. Or not. Oh, hello. Hello, Blaze. Hello. Hello. Let's just... Safety. Aha. The warden is in the ancient city. You cannot find the warden here. Unless someone brings it to the nether, which I don't even know if that's possible. Sounds like a terrible idea to me. You probably could. There's probably a way to do that. But no, naturally you wouldn't find the wither here. I mean, the warden here. Oh, I could have accidentally hit you and caused quite a few problems for myself. Glad I didn't. Does this end over here? Alright, that's the end of that. We may want to go... Oh, wait, was that a hallway? No. Hello, please. Excuse me, pardon me, coming through. Oh, I will take your... I will take the magma cubes. Huh? Why am I not getting any magma creams? Like, hello? I wanted some of those for some brewing. That one? Aha! Wither skeleton. Okay. We're safe here. Come here, buddy. Right over here, please. Hi. How you doing? Can I have your skull? No? Okay. I figured it was worth a shot. Worth asking, you know? Oh! Oh, God. It's just a regular skeleton. He scared me, though. Alright, now there's a bunch of hoglins down here we have to be aware of. Alright, nothing that way. Ah! Just a skeleton. Just a regular skeleton. No reason to be alarmed. That's a wither skeleton. Okay. He's on the other side of this. Yes. Come here. Come here, new friend. Thank you for nothing. Alright. Oh, is that a wither skeleton? There's two. Come here, guys. I guess the hoglin can come too. Nah. Whew. I don't think... Nope, still one. Still just the one. Alright, let's eat some food. Is that... I think that guy is wearing a skull. I wonder... Oh! Wow, rude. Very rude. Very rude indeed. Alright, you can come here. Oh, my hands are getting sweaty. Yuck. Alright, this is the way out. What's happening? Something like suffocating in a block. Alright, come here. Get your butt kicked by a wither skeleton. Wow. You too. You want to get your butt kicked by a wither skeleton? So if we wanted to, we could potentially kill that piglin, zombified piglin that picked up that skull, but that sounds a little dangerous because then all of the other zombified piglins will attack. Ah! Wasn't expecting you. Okay, that's fine. Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye. Oh god, there's so many of you. Why so many? This is fine. Everything is fine. We're just moving slowly through here. It's very safe. Super safe. Yay, danger! Yay, danger! That's our motto now. Think that's one? This way, please. Thank you. Oh, there's some over there. Yes, okay. This is working just fine. Can I have skulls? There's another one. Oh my god! Oh my god! Why do they fight? I didn't even know you guys could do that. Nope, no skull. It was worth checking. Oh, I didn't just make the other ones despawn, did I? Oh, I don't see them anymore. I walked too far away. It's just regular skeletons. Go ahead. Attack the zombified piglin. I dare you. Fight each other. I want to do thadathon. What are you talking about? I want to do thadathon. Oh my god. Stop attacking me. You were attacking each other. What happened? I definitely want to do thadathon. It's a matter of whether or not we can. Whether or not we survive. That's all. I'm trying to be very safe about this, actually. This is fine. Oh, God. This is fine. Fight each other. Fight each other. One of those bows is very strong. Okay. Okay. Okay, this is fine. This is fine. Just a little sweaty palms. Ugh. My inventory must be full now. Of junk! We'll just combine this stuff to make it less junk. And then we'll dump it all off somewhere. This can go with that as well. Why didn't I bring my fishing rod? Anybody know? Anybody know why I might have brought my fishing rod? Okay. There was like lava down here somewhere. No, maybe not. Alright, we'll just shove stuff in the corner. And we'll dig down a couple. There we go. Trash. 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 Too many arrows. Too many arrows. What trash? What trash? Hi, Tripwire! Thank you so much for 31 months. Thank you, thank you. I hope you're doing well and that you had a lovely Thursday / Thanksgiving / whatever yesterday was to you. We're in the scary place. We're in the scary place and we're trying to get some wither skulls, aka the skulls these guys drop. I need 3 of them for thadathon tomorrow, and I currently have 1. Now they're really scary, which is why you need 3 of their skulls to summon the even scarier thing. Just popping in quick, hitting the road shortly. Well, safe travels. I hope that you get home safe. Are you heading back home? All right, trash. I'm just gonna leave over here. Get out of here. Tomorrow, potentially, provided we survive today and everything we have planned tomorrow, we're doing the wither fight. Yes. Also, hello, Grumpy. How are you? There's one. Okay. Come here. No skull. Nothing. Not even a piece of coal. Rude. Oh, that's an Enderman. We don't want anything to do with him either. There's this zombified piglin that has a skull on. And I'm like, should I? Oh, what if we got something else to kill the zombified piglin? Would it still drop the skull? Like, if we lead it over here and get one of the skeletons? Come here, Skelly. Come here. I got a plan for you. Come this way. Come here. Where'd my friend go? Where'd he go? Where'd the one with the skull go? Also, you guys can leave. Thank you. No, not you. I need to know where the guy with the skull went. He's gone. No. Okay, fine. Forget this plan. This is a terrible plan. Horrible plan. No good, very bad plan. I lost my friend with the skull. He's gone. Moved on to bigger and better things. Oh, there's several of these guys. Okay. All right. One. Oh. Oh, well, good job. Oh, my God. See, that's why we don't attack the zombified piglins. Because they fight back in droves. Okay. There's the guy. There's the guy with the skeleton head. All right. All of you need to go elsewhere. Can you just, I don't know, leave? Before I accidentally hit one of you instead of my wither skeleton friends. Except for you. You can die. Okay. Any skulls? Are you the one? You're the one with the skull. Okay, can I lead like a skeleton back here? Still one skull. Alright, where's the skellies? Or I'll even take the blaze. You want to follow me this way? And fight all the zombies? Come on. I dare you. Shoot me. Oh, no, hit one of them. Ah. Imagine if it was the skull that gave you the wither effect. And like if I put the skull on, I could wither them. Oh my God, we need to eat. All right, have a good drive, Tripwire. You skipped record store day this morning, but you need the garbage record. Good luck. Good luck. I wish you well on your journey. All right, you and you. Okay, all right, we're gonna do this. We've got this. Come on. Shoot me. Shoot him. Shoot him. Shoot him. Shoot him. Shoot him. Shoot him. Shoot. Come on. Why aren't you guys... No? Can you not? Does that not work? Alright, I need a skeleton then. Come here, guys. Alright, am I missing anything else? I haven't been paying attention. Alright, have a good day, Grumpy. Thanks for stopping by. Happy Friday to you. Happy lurking. Hopefully I didn't miss anything else. I'm a little nervous here, you know. Oh, we got an incoming ad break, by the way. For those who are not currently subscribed, you may experience several minutes of ads in a moment. Come here. Come here with a friend. Where'd you go? This way. This way. This way. Right this way. Y'all. Oh, God. There's one right there. Huh. Good thing I saw him. Guys, can you move? I really don't want to accidentally hit you. That would be less than ideal. Alright, and you guys need to stop doing this. Don't like that. Okay. Alright, everybody's out of my way. You all over there? Good. Want that skull. I still only have one? Still only one skull. Okay. Can we throw... There's the guy with the skeleton. With the skull, I mean. Not the skeleton. The wither skeleton skull. So many words. Alright, anybody else? Any other? No? Okay, let's go back downstairs. Hopefully there's none in here. We good? We good? Any over here? Here, wither skellies. Where are you? None over here? Where could they be? Where have all the wither skeletons gone? Is there one down here? Are you one? Wait, are you another guy with a skull? Are you the same guy that we were seeing up there with the skull? Huh. Perhaps. Oh, blaze. Okay, that's fine. We can handle a blaze. Oh, stop it. Let's do it like that. Oh, hello. Oh, hello. Why are there so many of you right now? So many. You too. Okay. Waha. Okay. Oh my god, more. Come here. Come here. Is that it? Are there more of you up here? My goodness. Oh my god, why are there so many of you? Please stop. Please do stop. Oh god, I almost hit that guy. Almost hit that guy. That would not have been good. Goodness me. Still only one skull. Ah! Oh god. Oh god. Oh god. Oh god. Use. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Where's my apple? Where's my apple? Eat the apple. Eat the apple. Eat the apple. Oh god. Oh god. Oh god. Oh god. We're gonna die. We're gonna die. We're gonna die. No. Put that down. Put that down. I'm just gonna take a second. The ad break's over. Ah, my little heart. I thought it was over. I thought we were done.
Oh my god.
Alright, everybody take a sip of water. We're okay. Everything's fine. I'm shaking. I'm just like straight up shaking. Okay. 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 Do we think they're still mad at me? Do we think he's still mad at me? Ah! I miss my house. I miss my cozy house. And not being in hell. Remember not being in hell? That was so nice when we were not in hell. Okay, okay. We're gonna take a second. So what does that even give us when we eat that? That gives us absorption. What's absorption? What is absorption? Pads the health bar with extra hearts. Okay. Oh my god. I hate it here. I would like to make it to thadathon. Thadathon sounds like fun. This isn't. This is terrible. Alright, I'm gonna give myself a little room here. Like a so. Are those guys mad at me? Is anyone still mad at me? I break this. Oh god, too many blocks. Where'd that guy go? Are they not mad at me anymore? Because I'd still be mad at me. Are we okay? Hello? Did they give up on me? I just want to be sure. You don't seem mad at me. Are you mad? Okay, I guess they're not mad anymore. We're okay? We're okay. That was terrifying. Who's shooting at me? Oh god. I'm very jumpy now. I hate it here. Come here. Okay. Ugh. That was terrible. That was the closest we've come to death. I think. Pretty sure. Pretty sure that's the closest we've come. Not a fan. Not a fan. At all. At all. Okay, that's a wither skelly. Good on these side. Oh god, not you. Ah, blazes. All right, come here, blazes. I dare you. Shoot me. Okay. Can I have skulls? I'd really like to not be in here any longer. I would like to go home. We need skulls and we need gas tiers. Skulls and gas tiers. And to never enter the nether ever again. But we'll have to do it tomorrow. If we don't die. If we make it that far. Okay. Oh, I hear the blazes. You're not mad at me? Very good. Very good. Alright, there's the Wither Skelly guy. Can we get this guy to shoot him? You see me? Ah. I want the Wither Skelly guy to come back. The one with the skull on his head. Oh, go away. No. I'm trying to get you to shoot this guy. Where did you come from? Where did all of you come from? Why don't we just leave for a second? Let's leave for a moment. Just take a little trek further away, let all that stuff despawn. And also eat some food and breathe. Oh, I got so nervous and now I'm so cold. I am like super cold. My whole body is just freezing. Why are you all following me? Leave me alone. Leave me alone. They don't want to leave me alone. Okay. Alright. Alright. That's a regular skelly. Go away. You. Get. Alright, there's more blazes. We're being smart. Where'd that? I just saw a Wither Skelly over here, didn't I? Yes, he's right there. There's his little feetsies. Come here. Come here, you. No skull? No skull. Alright. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. Whew. I don't like you either. Go away. Is there anything behind you, or is it just the hoglin? Okay. I'm just gonna stand in here for a second. So how's everybody else doing? Are we all feeling good? All staying hydrated? Living our lives? How we doing? Alright, nothing that way. Oh god, you scared me. You scared me. Alright, is that another hoglin? Come here, Hoggy. Hoggy, hog. Come here. I gotta get rid of some stuff. Where can I drop this off? I'm just gonna dig into the ground. We're gonna toss this out, and this out, and that out, and the pork out. Oh, am I just picking everything back up? Nope, stop picking everything up. No! No. Stop picking it all back up. There we go. Oh, dang it. I still have the sword. Whatever. Good enough. We'll get rid of more trash shortly. Alright, where's the Wither Skellies? Come here, Wither Skellies. Where are you at? Here, wither skelly, skelly, skelly. Any of you up here? There's one. Oh, and a you. Okay. We're going to avoid you. Okay. You stay over there. Oh, I think that's the second one. I think we got our second one. Yes! Second wither skelly skull. Woo! So if we could get the third one off of that zombie piglin who picked up one apparently along the way. If we could just get the one off of him, we'd be golden. But alas, I think this is going to be a little more of a challenge. That's just blazes in here, right? Yes, that's the blaze spawner. Okay, that makes sense. Of course, there's blazes in the blaze spawner. Alright, was there anybody this way? No, not really. Nothing going on over here. Hello, 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 hello. Where? Oh, yeah, there's more like corridors back here. Any sign of friends? Oh, let's use this empty chest to get rid of some stuff. Provided nobody can see us open it. Should we just box ourselves in when we do this? Just in case. Don't want to piss anybody off. Okay, we're fine. Nobody's around. Nobody saw anything. Okay, there's a couple wither skellies. Who's hitting me? Eat my food. No, go away. Go away. Go. Go on, get. All I want is a third wither skelly skull. Is that so much to ask? Is that so much to ask for? There's a guy. There's a guy. Okay. Come here. Come here. Right here. Right here. Oh! I got withered. I think that's the first time I've been withered. Oh. How does this... Does it just go away? And then we can eat? Okay. Oh, it doesn't last that long. That's good. That's alright. 2 skulls. 2 skulls. And let's go back this way again. Achoo! Pardon me. Alright, zombie piglin. Regular skellies. Okay. Okay. No. There's one. There's one. Alright, you come here. Come here. Come here. That's fine. Alright, we'll get you. Alright, he's dead. And there's the wither skellies we want. Okay, come here, you. One. Come on, skull. No, no skull. Ah! Ah! Hi. How you doing? Don't mind me, just avoiding that guy. Anything down here? It's kind of hard to see. Kind of hard to see. Go back down here. Okay. Zombified piglins. That's all fine, well and dandy. Let's go back toward this side, I guess. Nothing down here at all? Okay. Nothing that away? Okay. Okay, where are they? Is that the one with the skull again? Has it wandered back down this way? Okay. Come here, Skelly. Sir, this way, please. Right this way. I have a zombified piglin you might want to try to kill. Yeah? Keep coming this way. Nothing's down this way, right? Oh, there's one. But that's fine. Where'd he go? No, where'd my friend go? Where'd my friend go? Stop it. Stop it. Where'd my friend go? Fine, forget it. Someday my plan will work. Someday. Oh, there he is. He's back. Is there another wither skeleton down here? There was one. I think it's gone now. Alright, that's a lot of blazes. Can y'all not? Could you not? Have you considered not? Have you considered not? Alright, there's some skellies between me and the zombified piglin. Alright, right this way. Come on. You want to fight him? Okay. Oh, God. Yeah, sure. Walk through all the fire, genius. So smart. Super smart. Oh! Why did I attack him? Why did I attack him? Why did I do that? It wasn't even the one with the skull. Am I okay? Nobody saw that, right? Nobody's mad at me? I don't hear any angry pigs. Alright, let's eat and heal before we investigate. Alright, I don't think anyone's mad at me. That was silly, though. That was not my smartest move. What was I thinking? We're okay? Oh, go away. I have about had it with you. And you. You too. Alright, come here, Skelly. Come here, Wither. Come here, Wither, Skelly. Alright, there's a blaze right here. It's just looking at me. 2 skulls. 2 skulls. We need a third. Alright, he's not looking at me anymore. Third skull! Third skull! Third skull! Let's go! 3 skulls. 3 skulls! Thank goodness. Oh, go away. I'm celebrating. Can you just not? Could you just let me celebrate in peace? Thank you. Alright, and let's get back in the tunnel for a second and we'll situate ourselves. We got 3 skulls. I hear a lot of pigs out there. Next, we need blazes. Oh my gosh, I'm so cold still. Should we turn on the space heater? Or should we find... Oh, I have a scarf. Scarf. Oh. Headphones. I don't need the wire all tangled in it. Scarf. Kind of want a hoodie. Oh, why am I on fire? Why am I on fire? Sir. Sir? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Who do you think you are? My goodness. Can't even put my scarf on without getting it. I hate the nether. I hate the nether. This is my least favorite place. Absolutely hate it here. Alright. So I think if we go back to where the portal is, we can get outside that way, and there will be some gas potentially, maybe? I do think that before we do that, I should take a bathroom break, though. Before I die. Because my bladder's too full. That'd be a silly thing to kill me, huh? Alright, let's get back into the little hidey hole for a second. Oh, goodness. Oh, goodness. Oh, goodness. I guess we're not taking a break. Hello? Hello? Welcome, Raiders. Welcome in. I hope everybody's doing well. Let me just get myself over here. Peter! Peter and Co. How's everyone doing? Thank you for the raid. Thank you so much for the raid, Peter. I appreciate it. If you, for some reason, are not already following Peter, aka PLJ_95, you should change that. Someone told me you wanted a break. Those are not allowed here. But I'm so sweaty now. I almost died. I almost died because I accidentally hit a zombified piglin while fighting blazes. I came pretty close to dying, and I'm still a little bit of a mess about it. But welcome in, friends. We've got Val here, Naku, Skyline. Welcome in. And thank you for CrewFan01. Thank you for the follow. Nothing bad's happening, right? I hear sounds. I hear sounds. Oh, and Skyline followed. Thank you so much, everyone. Is there a clip? I don't know if anyone took a clip. I don't know. I don't know if anyone took a clip of it. If anybody's listening who took a clip of what happened, I wasn't thinking about clipping it. I just panicked. The VOD will be up tomorrow morning, though, so there's that. Oh, but welcome in, friends. So what we're doing is preparing for tomorrow, which is going to be thadathon, aka the day we take all the risks we've been putting off because I'm scared of dying in hardcore Minecraft. So we've avoided everything that you usually do in Minecraft, like dragon fights and raids and wither fights. I've done none of those things. In fact, I've never done a wither fight, and I don't think I've ever done a raid. I don't remember ever doing a raid. So we're preparing for tomorrow by getting all the stuff we'll need to do all the big scary things, like getting wither skulls for our first withers fight. We got the wither skulls. We've done it. We've got the wither skulls. Let's head into the overworld just for a second. I want to get rid of some of this trash, but I don't want to be opening any chests in the nether if I can avoid it, because we see what happens when people open boxes in the nether. Looking at you, Zero, almost dying to the piglins. Some pretty scary stuff. All right, so we're just gonna drop all this off in my old house. My old house. There we go. So welcome in, everyone. If you don't know who I am Cathadora, aka Cath, aka Thad. I am a person of many names, apparently. Feel free to pick from those, whichever you'd like. Cat is also acceptable. I use they, them pronouns. I am a pretty casual streamer, but we've been going pretty hardcore on the streams here. Get it? Get it? Because it's a hardcore server. You get it? We've been streaming a lot of Minecraft this month. Wanted to make the most of our time here on the server. And I think we've done a pretty good job. Do we want to take a little tour? Oh, this is my starter house. We're just gonna drop off this junk here. I guess I'll take the gold. Oh, we got plenty of blaze rods now. My goodness. I was like, let's get a few blaze rods. And then I got like a whole bunch more when we were, oh, we gotta put the wings on to fly. Wings first. Then we fly. Whee! Matt, I'm in the air now. It's daylight. Thanks for the bits, Matt. Oh, hi, Jojo. You look cold? I am. I'm freezing. I was fine until I got into a hairy situation and started sweating, and now I'm cold. So this is my base. This is my house. I made that waterfall and pond. That's my little fishing hut. Let's land on the dock here if we can. Oh, nope, we missed. So close. So that's my waterfall. I built that. It comes down from the top of the mountain where it's icy and snowy, like it's melting down. And now we got rain. Perfect. Just in time for me to show off everything. I built this pond. This is my fish mosh pit because they're just all opening up this pit. We're gonna sleep since Matt wants to troll us. I almost died, Jojo. I almost died. So, here we are. Let's set the scene. I was in the nether, collecting wither skulls. Blazes everywhere, shooting fireballs at me. I'm chopping them with my sword, killing all the blazes. Zombified piglin. Hit the zombified piglin. Zombified piglin starts to attack. I nearly died. Luckily, I ate an apple, and then I ran and I hid. I boxed myself in and survived. But I'm pretty sure that's the closest I came to death. I'm not trying to avoid thadathon. I want to do thadathon. That's why we're preparing for thadathon.
Oh my god.
But preparing for thadathon happens to be very dangerous. Yes, exactly. In the words of Bob. Oh my god. Don't anger the friendly bacon. It was very scary. My life flashed before my eyes. My heart was racing. My palms were sweaty. Mom's spaghetti, you know, the whole thing. Yes, thadathon tomorrow. Tomorrow. If we survive till then. I almost didn't want to make the command because I'm like, I'm going to make this command and announce that we're going to have a big stream tomorrow, and then I'm going to die before we get there. And then what would thadathon be? Thadathon would just be 12 hours of me crying about dying in hardcore Minecraft. Thad rap stream when? Probably never. Probably never. I did tell Joe plays violin, that if she ever, because she does that lovely cover of Breakfast in America by Supertramp. And like most emo kids, my first introduction to Supertramp was Gym Class Heroes. Take a look at my girlfriend. She's the only one I got. That one with Patrick Stump. Like most emo kids, that was my first introduction to Supertramp. So I told Joe if she ever does a Gym Class Heroes cover, that I will do the rapping for her. Because I do know that song very well. Yes, Matt keeps doing this. I love it. Thadathon, thadathon, thadathon. This Saturday, Saturday, Saturday. Yes, thadathon would become sadathon. We'll just sit here. We'll just sit in, I guess, the other Minecraft world. Or I guess we could be a ghost in this one and just play sad songs. Break out the secondhand serenade. The armor for sleep. You know. All the sad songs. The dashboard confessional. Actually, sadathon sounds kind of fun. Sadathon is right up my alley. If I die, I'll just do... If you die, I'll do a crash course on modded Minecraft for 12 hours. Okay, that's our backup plan, folks. You'll have to teach me how to even install mods. So if we die today, if we don't make it to thadathon, thadathon becomes modathon/sadathon. We will learn to play modded Minecraft and listen to all the emo music. All right. Oh, okay. I remember. I wanted to go grab the diamond horse armor out of my storage to put on my horse. And then we'll go back into the nether and try to find the gas tears we need to summon the wither dragon. Not the wither dragon. The wither dragon. That sounds terrifying. That's even worse than the nether dragon and the wither. The wither dragon? What am I doing? I'm dreaming up terrible, horrific things. But yeah, this is my house. This is my house that I built. Took me 30 days, nearly. This is our storage area. It's not labeled, so I don't know where anything is. This is my kitchen. That's one of my kitty cats, Mulder. You can see him on the kitty cat cam below me here. Right here. That's that little black blob. That's Mulder. We also got Scully. Scully's my gray cat. He's not in here right now. I don't know where he is. He has like a little igloo bed that he likes, so he's probably in the other room. And this is Jessie in honor of our late pup. Jessie, the puppa, the floof. And we got a few other cats. We've got Trash Kitty as named by Matt. We've got Harry and Cooper in honor of Twin Peaks, which my partner and I recently became obsessed with. And yeah, this is my bedroom. This is where the sleep happens. This is my altar to sleep. All right, I want to put this on the horse. We're gonna put a shulker down. We're gonna put the wither skulls in here. Wither skulls, and what is it? 4 of that. We'll just take all of it. I'm gonna put the blaze rods over here. We're gonna make a bunch of potions. That's part of what we're doing. I can't believe I didn't get any more magma creams. Wild. All right, so that can go in here. That's stuff we need for tomorrow. Oh, and the nether wart can go in here too. I got 1,000,000 bones when we were in the nether. We're going back. Don't worry. We're going back to the nether. We will. I'm just a little nervous about it. Came a little too close to death there. Not a fan. Give me those back. I need those. Those saved my life. We've got blocks. We've got way too much coal on us from all of the wither skeletons. But for real, I do need to take a short break. I swear to God, Val. I will not be very happy if that happens. We could get to a chaos dragon in 12 hours. That would be a challenge. I didn't get the gas tears yet. We gotta go back into the nether and get the gas tears. It'll be terrifying. Val, did you see? I almost died to a zombified piglin. It was just one of them. It was only one of them. There was blazes. I think I might have caught on fire during it. I don't know. We don't have a clip to prove it, but we will have the VOD tomorrow. The VOD will be uploaded. So if you're curious, I have a YouTube. That's where I post my VODs. And I guess we'll do the other things too. We have a brand new Discord. I set that up over the past couple days. Join us on Discord. I don't know what I'm doing there. I don't know if I set it up correctly, but we have a Discord. And hold on, I have notifications here. Did people join? Do we have more people? Do we have more people? We do. We've got names I can't see because we have streamer mode on. Keldon's here now. Harry and yay, look at that. It's not just me and Jules anymore. There's more than 2 of us. So we have Discord. We've got a Discord, finally. I just set that up. So you could be there for the beginning stages of it and help us shape things if you'd like to. So yeah, we got that. Oh, and I have Blue Sky now. Am I getting notifications? Did that make noise? I think that made noise. How do I mute that? Is there like a silence option? Oh no, now all the things are going off. Everybody be quiet. Stop sending me notifications. Mute. How do I mute? Mute the things. Oh no, I don't know how to do this. We're just gonna close that. Goodbye, Discord. No more Discord. I'm gonna take a short break, like I was going to before we were graced with Peter's presence and his community. Thank you again for that. I really do appreciate that. If you're not... Is it still making noises? Am I hearing things? I closed it. It shouldn't be making more noises. I'm gonna go take a short break, but like I said, if you're not already, please go follow Peter. He's the one who invited me to be a part of all this, and I'm eternally grateful. So yeah, one more little shout out there. Go follow Peter if you're not already. You better be. And I'm going to take a short break. Feel free to play Dropped while we do, as Val was demonstrating. He's going to land in that lovely pile of leaves with his beautiful poop emoji. And I'll be back in just a few minutes. Okay. Feel free to hydrate, get a snack, take your meds, do what you gotta do. I'm gonna drop. What do I want to drop? I want to drop clappies. Okay, bye. Are the notifications still coming through? I closed Discord. Why would there be sounds if there is no open Discord? Why? Why? Why sounds? Hold on. We're figuring this out. You can't see what I'm doing, but notifications. How? How do I... Where's the sounds? Can I just mute them? Disable all notification sounds. Goodbye. Okay. Aha! I think I win. I think I win. There's no such thing as a closed Discord. Apparently not. I was in streamer mode, but I wanted to see names of who joined, and it wasn't showing me the names, so I took that off, and now it's back. Why is it flashing at me? Stop it. Everybody be quiet. Stop posting in the Discord. That's not what it's for. I'm ignoring Discord. Windows volume mixer and mute it. Okay. I'm closing it again. Everybody leave me alone. Everybody leave me alone. No Discord. It's muted. The noises should be gone. Am I doing a good job? Am I doing a good job of trying to get people to join my Discord and be active members of it? Stop saying things. Stop posting. Stop making notifications. All right, I think the noises are gone. I closed the thing so it's not flashing at me and distracting me. I also microwaved my coffee, but I microwaved it too long, and now it's too hot to drink, and it's kind of burning my hands, but it also is kind of nice because I'm really cold. Welcome to Thad Whines. That's what this stream's all about. Me whining about things. I hope you're happy to be here and listening to me whine. Ignoring. Yeah. Perfect. Mission accomplished. Just kidding. For real, I'm so glad you're all here, and I appreciate the people who have joined the Discord. We're gonna figure this out. I'm gonna learn as I go about maintaining a Discord community, but I think it was a step in the right direction. We're making some pretty decent changes around here lately. This month really got me motivated. We got the new mic. We got the new headphones. It's unrelated, but I got a rug for in here so my chair doesn't roll around. We got a Discord. We got sound alerts. We're doing things. Thad Whines, made only with the highest quality ender grapes. For those of you who know Schitt's Creek, I almost put Moira's the wine commercial thing as an alert, but it's too convoluted. It was a little too long. But yes. Okay. All right. Here we go. We're gonna get back into things. We're gonna get the gas tiers. I need to get moving. It's already almost 11:30. We have a lot to do. All right, so we gotta go find a village to do a raid in, because that's how we're starting tomorrow. Well, not starting. The first 2 hours, we're just gonna be checking things out, doing a little tour, taking it easy, seeing who's online. I'm hoping there'll be other people online doing things. And then 2 hours in is when we're gonna start the actual tough stuff, kicking it off with a raid to get our first totems, so that we can maybe survive additional challenges. It would be so cool to do all the dangerous things and survive tomorrow. Imagine. No, Val, no. Val apparently wants to sabotage me. Val, I'm trying my hardest to stay alive. Why would you do that? Why? All right, let's put the horse armor on the horsey. Also, if there's time, I wanted to extend this path over the hill to the to where the village is, just so people know there's stuff out here. Like, hey, I exist. You wouldn't know it by looking at the village, but yeah, I'm here. All right, that's perfect. Horsey has armor. Perfect. Perfect, perfect. So I was considering extending the path beyond here. I guess we could just, like, shovel it. Make a rough path if I wanted to go up this way. This is not a very good path. We can maybe make it look nicer if there's time. This is my path making sounds. Diddle-oo. Diddle-oo. But maybe this will make people follow the path and realize that there's stuff over there. Because from what I understand, there may be like a world download. Like, hi, I exist. There's a path. You could follow it that way if you'd like. And maybe see the stuff I spent 30 days working on. Seiken's here. Hold on, I'll read your message in a second, Seiken. This is not a good path. This is like the opposite of how I usually do paths. Alright, maybe that's enough. Nope, I'm continuing it. We're going this way. Past all this. There we go. Good enough. Perfect. Hey, Seiken. I am Eastern time zone. It is currently 11:30 a.m. for me. Need any cheese with your wine? Always. Always, yes, cheese. But also, please, potentially some Lactaid. That would help. Lactaid would be great. Watch your back all day. Yeah, Val's apparently got it out for me. Val's got it out for me. Pro tip, keep a stack of obsidian with you. Have a good pickaxe. Worst case scenario, box yourself in and then start digging. You'll get out alive. Get out alive of where? I don't have time to go get a whole stack of obsidian. I do want to make some potions and stuff. That's part of what I'd like to do. Oh, that'd be nice, Seiken. I'd appreciate that. The goal is to make it that far. First, I gotta survive this, which we've already almost died once. Already almost died once. There's a wall there. Okay, that's not the way out. This way? Nope, not that. I usually dig through one of these walls. There it is. Hi. Hi, friend. Nothing to see here. I'm wearing gold. Nothing. We're all good. You're not mad at me, right? Okay. All right, we gotta go find ghasts. Oh, also I wanted some magma creams for some fire resistance potions. Come here. Ha. Okay. Ha. 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 Did I get any? No. I haven't been getting, like, any magma creams. Wild. Oop. Hoglins. Okay. We're just gonna keep on keeping on this way. Let's see if there's a spot where we can get some gas to spawn in. Oh, what happened? What happened? Zeri landed. Beautiful, Zeri. Good job. Very nice. Proud of you. Good work. Alright, that's enough praise. Alright, I'm not gonna be able to find my way back. Maybe we should just fly from the main area in a particular direction. Where's the... what's the coordinates over here? Why? Why? Ah! 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 Oh, there's a ghast. Okay. Ah! Did it despawn? Where'd it go? I took a step back. Where'd it go? He was just right here. What? You You know what? Where's those, the blue mushrooms? I totally passed a few. There's it. Ah, there's the ghast. Come here. Nope. Leave me alone. Haha. Oh! Oh my god. Did we just get all 4 ghast tears from that guy? Did I just look at my inventory and see 4 ghast tears? Like... Well. Okay. That was easy. That wins! I didn't even know that was possible. How? Like, what? Okay. Okay. Sweet. Alright, let's follow my really ugly path back, and maybe we can make it a little less ugly along the way. This isn't really making it less ugly, is it? Also, what did I do over here besides not turn anything into path blocks? This is a terrible path. I wouldn't follow this path. Oh, this is like making me dizzy. I'm sorry. That's probably not fun to look at as a viewer. All the shaking. Sorry. Alright, let's be a little more precise about it. I don't know about you, but I hate when things get, like, super shaky. Like, it's just not fun to look at when that happens. Makes me dizzy. Just build a netherrack path. Beautiful, yeah. I mean, we did get all that free netherrack from Puggy, so I guess we should put it to use, huh? Do I have any grass? Or dirt? Nope. Where'd my path go? Oh. This way. I messed it all up. Break. Alright, and then you can see there's a house there. Alright. This, it's not perfect. Matt's got it out for me. Matt would like to see me exploded by a creeper. That's the impression that I get from Matt. And I'm like, I'd like to survive the thadathon, this Saturday. Matt's like, creepers. How about creepers? Have you considered creepers? Maybe creepers. Alright, let's sleep. We just got this email at work after a long continuation of reply all. Please, for the love of all that is holy, don't anyone send another reply all to this email. It was clearly sent by mistake and doesn't require a response. If anyone is confused about this, please call or just call me and I will be happy to explain how this works. Oh, I don't miss corporate life. I do not miss corporate life. Office life? Nope. Don't miss it. Don't miss it. Oh, there's a creeper. There's actually a creeper. No, don't move. Don't move. I'm trying to kill you. See? Let's see if we got any gunpowder out of it, because I think we're going to need more rockets for tomorrow. And more food. I should probably go buy more golden carrots so we don't run out of food tomorrow. 12 hours. That's a marathon. 12 hours? Reply all. Okay, thanks. Oh, Zeri's a troll. Through and through. I can't believe we got all 4 of the gas tiers. And I think we have enough ender pearls. Now, all I need is the 4 end crystals, right? Like, that's all I need to summon them? Do I have any ender pearls down here? We have 10. All right, let's take 9 of them. We'll just leave 1 there for, I don't know. Oh, and there's more gunpowder in here. I'll take that. I can go there. And I think I have more gunpowder upstairs. 35. That's a decent amount of rockets. All right, I'm just gonna put these 47. Let's make 47 pieces of paper. And we'll keep that in my ender chest in case we need to make more rockets on the go. I'm gonna put that in here. See, we've got a stack and a half there on top of this. And then that should be like 2.5 stacks more. Hopefully that'll be enough. Don't do what I did with an end crystal. What did you do, crew fan? Oh, I forgot to run the ads when I took my break. Ugh. It's a 1,000 user distribution list. That is way too many people to be emailing. The spoon hit me in the face. Glasses seem okay. Yes, I'm not going to place them down. We're going to craft them, but we're not going to place them. And I think we just place them around the portal when we get to the end. Right? Right? Is that how we do the Ender Dragon? Okay. So we needed these. We need some blaze powder. That's 4 eyes of Ender. Okay. Then we need glass. Woo! Okay, we're not putting those on the hotbar. Definitely not. So that's all we need for that. Oh, not this one. This one. This one has our supplies for tomorrow. All right, and crystal. I should put the ominous bottles in here because that's for the raid portion. We're starting with the raid. So we'll take both of these. All right, so we'll start with the raid. And I guess we'll hold on to the other one for if we get to the trial chambers portion of it. So we're doing, what's the order that I said? Hold on. Let's take a look at the list. The list. I'll post all the details in the Discord, by the way. That's what the Discord's for, right? All right, so first we're going to do a raid. So we got to go find a village that we're going to do that in. For the raid, we're going to need some leaves. Because I believe if we make a platform with leaves that we might not, I don't think the mobs spawn on the leaves from what I've gathered by watching other people do raids. Do I have another shears in here? Okay. So let's go get some leaves. We'll cut down a few trees, get some leaves, a couple stacks of those to use. Am I missing anything? Black Friday ads, games, energy drinks, gaming kits, things to make you smell nice. That's the ad you've been getting, Jojo? Sounds fun. All right, leaves. Lots of leaves. And then I can combine these shears with these shears. Okay. Plenty of leaves. Let's just cut down these trees, I guess, while we're here. I don't know if we're going to need any wood for anything, but maybe. Maybe. Oh, it's a big tree. I didn't realize it was a big tree. I just like gathering blocks, honestly. The resource gathering part of Minecraft is legitimately one of my favorite things. I love mining. I love chopping down trees. It's better when your stuff's all enchanted. Mine's not fully enchanted. We don't even like have efficiency on this axe. But I really like it. I like the sounds. The little pops when you pick up a block. I'm a simple person, okay? Don't ask for much, I don't think. So Crewfan says, I accidentally placed the crystal in my main base. Oh no, in the base? Like, I've seen people accidentally set off the end crystals. Like, that's happened. But in the base? No. Oh, that's terrible. I'm so sorry that happened. Jove's here. Hi, Jove. How you doing? Oh, and you landed. Very nice. Clappies for Jove. Our resident blender wrangler. How would I call Jove's is responsible for the blender. There you go. That's all you need to know. All right, and that's true too. And then we'll replant them. Because why not? Maybe someone will need this. Okay. We've got plenty of leaves now, I think. Got home at 2 a.m. Didn't go to bed until 4. Goodness, Jove. Were you out for Thanksgiving festivities? Why were you up so late? All right, so to go with that, we've got our leaves. There we go. Okay. I've got a bunch of pork to put away. We've got a few nether-related items. I'm going to keep the ender pearls in here, too. We might need those. Why would we need ender pearls? I can't think of anything we'll need them for, but I'm going to put them in here just in case. All right, we got a few blocks to put away. There we go. Just in case. Let's put away these blocks that we've picked up along the way. And then we're going to go find where we're going to do the raid. Where's my nether blocks? There's the nether blocks. Flour. I'm finally starting to learn like where I've put stuff in here. Just in time for the server to end, you know? I can't believe we didn't die earlier. I thought for sure we were goners. By we, I mean me. But we're in this together, right? It's us. If I die, we all die. No, that's not how that works. Okay. I do want to brew some potions. So what do we need for the potions? I'm going to want some fire resistance potions if we end up getting to the bastion portion. Oh, we also will need wool if we get to the ancient city. We'll need water breathing if we get to the water temple. Oh, and I wanted to put, oh, actually, wait, I think that the soul sand, I think this you can breathe on. So that would be handy, just in case. Because one of the debuffs for tomorrow is no potions. So we'll need another way of breathing if we end up going to the water temple and don't have the ability to use portable potions at that point. If y'all are mean and want to debuff me. Oh, okay. Oh, you streamed an LC Binks gig last night, then stayed up late checking the VOD to see how it turned out. I was up till I think almost 1 yesterday. Andrew was streaming, so I enjoyed some drums, you know? Some drums for Thanksgiving. Who doesn't love some drumsticks for Thanksgiving? Crew fan, I instant regret putting some obsidian on my floor. Oh, that's so inconvenient, because otherwise you wouldn't have been able to place it, right? But yeah, so I wouldn't even be able to accidentally place it in here. I forgot about the fact that you need obsidian with it. Oh, you know what else we should put in here? We should put some obsidian in here in case we get to the part where we are looking for the bastion in the nether and don't want to go all the way back in the nether. We could go in the overworld. Where do I put my obsidian? In here? All right. What do you need for a portal? So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So this is enough. This will be enough to make a portal. Okay, we've got 12 apples, which is better than no apples. Extra wood in there. Maybe we should put a backup water bucket. We had a bunch of buckets. I don't know what we need the lava bucket for, so I don't think we'll do that. Let's sleep. We'll fill up an extra water bucket just in case. Saw that Andrew was on, but by the time I got home, he was done streaming. Ah, yes. I don't know how late he went. I went to bed before he was done. But shout out to Andrew Core, my favorite drummer on Twitch. He doesn't have his own command. We gotta do SO first. There we go. This is who I'm talking about. Andrew Core. Did I spell it right? A-N-D-R-E-W-C. I did. Andrew is a drummer. And he's a pretty good one, I think. Oh, we need a pumpkin. We need a pumpkin for the end, so we don't deal with Enderman. Okay, we're remembering everything we need to prepare. We're getting there. So for the Ender Dragon fight, we've got our pumpkin. Okay. Oh, and did I grab my bucket of water? Yes, I did. All right, extra bucket of water just in case. Okay. What else will we need? I want to make some potions. So what do we have in here? No bottles. Do I have any bottles? No bottles? Just the one? Guess we're using some of our glass. Make a whole bunch of bottles. Because we're making potions. I made pains instead of potions. And you know what? I don't think we'll need this for anything, but let's stick these in here too. All right, what do we... Let's make one with potions in it. Ooh, we have some of that too. Okay. So this will be our potion box. We're gonna make some more fire resistance. So we'll need that. We'll need a nether wart, and we'll need a piece of redstone to extend it. And we gotta go fill up some of these bottles with water. I don't have a cauldron in here. I should have a cauldron in the kitchen, don't you think? Where do we want to put it? Should I remove the crafting table over here? Do all these barrels have stuff in them? I'll move this stuff. This is where the sink will go. I mean, this is where the crafting table will go instead. And let's make a cauldron. So we need... How much of this? Okay. sink. Gotta have a sink. What was I thinking? What was I thinking? Alright. I should put, I guess, my, where's my valuables? This is the valuables. This and this will go in here along with this. Okay, that's there. We'll refill my bucket, fill a bunch of bottles of water, make some potions. You just missed the end of stream when you woke up. I hope you had a good night's rest. Alright, we're gonna fill a bunch of bottles. Oop, too many bottles. Too many bottles. What can we do about it? Let's pick up this. Oh, Yankee cream. Yep. I wish I could put all the bottles in one. Oh, I broke sugarcane? What? Hold on. Put this back. I don't need this. There we go. Picked up the bottle. We got everything in my inventory now. Good. All right, let's go back inside. We'll put the bottles in here. Bottle. We need 3 to brew. 1, 2, 3. Then we go netherwort. Okay, well that's going. We can put away this barrel. I'm gonna stick this in here for now. So many torches. Too many torches. Too many. The glass goes in there. Okay, I heard the potions brewing. Now we do magma cream. All right. Nope, not what I wanted. Open image. Nope. Open image. Where's the thing where I can open the image? There we go. All right, I just want to see if we make blaze powder is how you make a potion of strength. We should definitely make some of those. We've got some fire resistance. Right, a golden carrot and then the fermented spider eye makes invisibility. What's water breathing? How do we make water breathing? Pufferfish. Okay, we can do that. All right, cool. So this is now fire resistance. We'll make it a little stronger. Or longer, whichever one it is. Let's make it go for 8 minutes, I think. Let's make sure. Yes, those are a few of Andrew's favorite things. Indeed. All right, let's put more bottles in here. 1, 2, 3, and a piece of netherwort. 1, 2, 3, netherwort. Okay, so this is gonna go in here. This will be our potions. So we've got some fire resistance. Very good. Did I have one more in here? Or is that it? Did I put it in here? There's the other 2. All right, we have 6 fire resistance. This next one we're gonna make is gonna be water breathing for when we go into the water temple. Is that what they're called? And then I guess we'll use a little bit of redstone to extend it. Jove and Keldon landed. Look at that. And that was a pretty good one, Keldon. Very nice. I want to drop. All right, is that water breathing? Water breathing, and then that should make it longer. So I'm going to drop. Let's do a little pride flags. Pride is year round. right. Come on. All right, 8 minutes of water breathing. Do we need more than that? Should we make a second batch of those? We're gonna need more bottles, I think. Let's do one like that, like that. Make a second one just in case. 1, 2, 3. Another wart. Let's go grab another few bottles. Had a few things I should have put away before we did this. My inventory is a bit of a mess. Just clip the edge. Close enough, right? Close enough. Okay. 1, 2, 3. I'll hold on to those. How's this doing? We need the pufferfish in here, and then we'll do the redstone. All right, while that's going, what can I put in here? I want to put... There's nothing in this one. All right, that can go there. Don't need the more iron. We can put our helmet back on, because we're back in the overworld. Put that away in the ender chest for now. There we go. We got to enchant the other elytra, so we have that in case we need it. And grab some more carrots. All right, so that'll be water breathing. We can extend that to 8 minutes. And then what I was reading, strength is just blaze powder? And then we could either have longer strength potion or stronger strength potion. Maybe we'll do a little bit of both. Okay, that's 8 minutes of water breathing. Put those in here. Nether wart. All right, that'll be more than enough for that portion of things. All right, let's make some strength potions. Oh, not that one. A couple of those.
Hey, listen.
I'm listening. I'm listening. Did you see your score? Oh, I landed. I didn't see my score. No, I didn't. Go me. Thank you for yelling at me. I'll drop. Okay, I'm distracted now. You know how I am. I mean, just look at what happened earlier with the timer. The timer is meant to make sure I actually do the queued drop. Turn off the timer. Completely forgot that. I just turned it off. Classic me. Classic Cathedora. All right, now do I have glowstone? That's a question that we need to answer. Do I have glowstone? I think I had some. Probably with my nether stuff. Whee. Nether. Nope. Nether. Glowstone. Okay. All right. Let's break a couple of these with the fortune pickaxe. 1 and 2. Glowstone dust. All right. That's more than we'll need. All right. So that's a strength potion. I want to make it a stronger strength potion. And then we'll make one that's a longer strength potion. So we'll need... Oh, we got the 3 bottles there. All right, so this will be 1.5 minutes. of extra damage. Okay, that'll be handy for the Wither. And for the dragon, actually. We might want to make a... Oh, and the raid. That'll actually be handy to have, like, all the time. I think we're going to make quite a few of these. Alright, that's the blaze powder. Oh, no! Wrong thing. I need the nether wart first. Not that. Nope, not that. There we go. Okay. So, we've got 3 strong strength potions. Thadathon! 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 This Saturday, Saturday, Saturday. Hi, Andrew. Andrew. Andrew! I was just talking about how wonderful you are, Andrew. And how I enjoyed your drums immensely last night. It was much needed. It invigorated me after a long, exhausting day. But yes, Thadathon will be tomorrow, provided I don't die today. How dare. I'm sorry. Sorry. I shouldn't have said nice things. Theater kids. Oh. We have fun over at Andrew's stream. Today is Friday. Yes, today's not Thadathon. Thadathon's tomorrow. We're preparing for Thadathon. We're preparing for Thadathon, which basically tomorrow's the last day of this Bedrock Legends server. And I have avoided all the scary, deadly things because I didn't want to die, since hardcore means one life, one opportunity. So, tomorrow, the last day of the server, provided we don't die today, we're going to do all the scary things. We're going to do a raid. We're going to do the dragon fight. We're going to do the wither fight. My first ever wither fight. That's the plan. We've been collecting all the stuff we need in order to do these things. Not in that box, this box. We've got our 3 wither skulls and the soul sand we'll need to summon the wither. We've got our ominous bottles for the raid, along with some leaves. We'll build ourselves a little platform. We've got the end crystals for summoning the dragon. And now we're getting the potions we'll need to do everything. Oh, no problem. No problem. Anytime, Andrew. So that's going to be tomorrow, and chat will have quite a bit of control over the stream. My camera's very bright. Can I lower that a little bit? 1 second. 1 second. Webcam. I'm pale, but I'm not this pale. Goodness. Hello? Lower that. Alright, that's, I guess, a little better. Kind of. Oh, it's gross. But yeah. So, yeah, tomorrow. Tomorrow we're going to do all the scary things. And chat's going to have control over a whole bunch of stuff. We're going to start with a 2-hour timer. But chat will be able to add time or remove time from that timer. And also we'll be able to trigger a wheel spin that will add debuffs to what I'm doing. Like, tell me I can't use my sword or can't use my potions or have to take off my shoes. Stuff like that. Things that could make it dangerous for me. But there's also the option of taking away debuffs if people want to be nice and not potentially kill me. So that's what we're doing tomorrow. Maximum of 12 hours. It could be as long as a 12-hour stream, but it'll depend on how long the timer gets pushed to and if I actually survive that long, because death trumps everything. Yeah, I'm hoping that doesn't happen during the wither fight, Jojo. Oh, and I've already said disclaimer on the wheel spins. It's just whatever happens before combat starts. I'm not doing wheel spins in the middle of combat because I have to manually trigger those, and obviously I'll die if I'm fighting something and pause to spin a wheel. So what if chat pays you to go away right at the beginning? That would feel pretty bad. But also, I'd be $60 richer, so that would be nice, I guess. I hope that doesn't happen. I'm hoping that people use the money and the stuff that they can do for good, but we'll see. You guys control if you want to. If I start stream and you guys want to pay $60 to take away 2 hours of time from the timer, okay, we'll end stream, but that doesn't sound like fun for anyone. That sounds like Thadathon would suck. No one would want Thadathon too. But, you know, if you want to pay me $60 to shut up, by all means. But there are cheaper ways of avoiding listening to me. Just saying. All right, we are making more potions. All right, so these are awkward potions. Let's add the blaze powder. Let's make a few more blaze powders. We have plenty. And then we'll add redstone to one, and we're gonna do one more set with the actually, how much space do I have in here? I would like to get a few invisibility potions, but we'll leave one row for that. So now this is regular strength. We're gonna make it stronger, and then we'll do 2 that are just longer potions. Regular strength for longer times. Okay, so we got the nether wart, we've got that, and then those. So 1, 2, 3. We need the 6 bottles for this. So nether wart. Alright, so these are extra strong potions. Extra strong strength potions. And what do we need for... Do I have spider eyes? Do I even have any spider eyes? Do I have any mushrooms? I don't even think I can make fermented spider eyes to make invisibility potions. We shouldn't do that. We should just brave it. If we make it to the water temple, we're braving it. But we do want water breathing. We have the water breathing, right? Yeah, we got 8 times 6 is 42? No. Wait, 8 plus 8 equals 16, 32, 48. We have 48 minutes of water breathing. That should be enough to get through a water temple if we make it that far. You can get me some spider eyes? Oh, wonderful. Thank you, Andrew. I appreciate it. That would be wonderful. Andrew has a spider problem. Always spiders lurking in the corner of Andrew Core's basement. Watching, waiting, and rocking out. Okay, so this is regular strength. We're gonna make them longer potions. Yeah, right? Indeed. Okay. After we're done brewing, we're gonna go fly out and find what village we're gonna do our raid at, because that's the first thing we're doing tomorrow. A couple hours in. We're at the 2-hour mark. We're gonna begin the challenges. If people want us to. If nobody donates any subs or anything like that, then we won't get to that point. And stream will just end before we do any of the fun stuff, which is fine, because then I survive. It's up to you guys. It's up to you guys whether or not we, actually do the scary things. Alright, so those are 8 minutes. We put that. Oh, I need the bottles. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Alright, this goes in here. This is our regular strength, but longer strength potions. We're preparing. We're preparing for the scary things. It's winter now. They're finally in hibernation. Oh, good. Oh, good. A lot easier to get their eyes that way, I bet. Alright, so that will be that. I don't need all these buckets. Let's put these in here. And let's fill up a few more bottles, even though I don't think I really need them. I think that'll give us 6 in total in the storage thing, even though we're almost done making potions. But just in case, maybe we'll think of something else or get the mushrooms while we're out and about. Okay, so this should be regular strength. We'll make it a stronger strength potion. We'll put the empty bottles in here. It's nighttime. Let's sleep. You know, don't know. Now that I think about it, I haven't really seen any spiders around the house recently either. We don't have big scary spiders like Andrew has. We just have daddy long legs. Mostly. And then those little really tiny spiders that are like almost translucent. One red mushroom. Yeah, that's not what we need. We need brown mushrooms for invisibility, but maybe we just won't do the invisibility. Maybe we'll be brave. All right, blocks. I don't need the sticks. Put the sticks in here. And we got a bucket. Okay, we got shears. I don't think we'll need them. I don't know why I have my fishing rod on me, but you know what? That's fine. It's fine. I probably won't need the stone cutter. I have one in the house already. I'm just going to stick this other one in here. I don't see why we would need that. And, oh, no, I want to see if there's any more, apples that fell when we cut down those trees. Not seeing any apples. I am seeing wood and more leaves and some bees. No apples. Might not be terrible to find some apples, though. And while we're doing our things tomorrow, we might come across some goodies. The first one being totems that we should get from the raid. That'll hopefully make it easier for us to survive the other portions of thadathon. Any apples? No? Just wasting my pickaxe on this, probably. So violent? What's violent? What are you even talking about? What are you talking about, Grumpy? We're still alive. Did you, Jules, were you here when I almost died to the zombified piglins? Were you? Or was that after you left? I don't remember. Alright, let's put away the wood in here. Sticks. Did I finish the potions? Alright, 8-minute strength potions. Very good. Okay, we got potions going. Gonna put the trees in there. Okay. Keldon missed the near-death experience. Yeah, well, it was, oh well. Should have been here. Personal hygiene should come second to watching my stream, Keldon. Matt started his Christmas shopping. Very nice. Very nice. Yeah, we almost died to some zombified piglins while fighting blazes earlier. But we didn't. We did survive. Okay, so now what we need to do, I'm gonna put all this stuff in here. We're gonna go and find... That's the potions, that's the supplies. We're gonna go and get some emeralds real quick. And then we're gonna go find a village. Oh, and I want to bring a cartography table with us because I need cartography villagers to get the maps that we'll need. Didn't I have one of those in here somewhere? Junk drawer. Found it. How do we make a cartography table? Is that just paper? Because we might need 2. Paper and wood. Okay, easy. 1, 2, 3. Is it just 3 to make paper? I think it does it in 3s. That, and then we need the wood. 1, 2. No? Wait, what was it? 4. 4 wood. 3, 4. Okay, now we have 2 cartography tables. Anything else I need to consider bringing? We've got a bed, we've got food. We need emeralds. What do I have for emeralds? I don't think I have very much. I have less than a stack, so let's actually just go do a little bit of trading. What can I sell? We could... Oh, and we need to get more wool. I forgot about the wool. Let's go trim the sheeps. Because if we... The sheeps. The sheep. Sheep. That's the plural of sheep. Take your Twitch device in the shower with you next time. What? Oh, you're just a Ziploc bag? Put it in the Ziploc bag? I suppose that would work. I've done that with my digital camera before. I've put my digicam inside, like, this was a long time ago. Like, I was still in high school. But I would put my digicam inside of a plastic bag and submerge it under water in my aunt's pool to take pictures. Good times. All right, I guess we'll take all the teal wool too. Cyan. Cyan. It's called cyan in Minecraft, but it's essentially teal. All right, we got all that. Good. All right. Let's put all this upstairs. Put all the wool inside of one of the shulkers we have right now too. Okay, so wool, 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 wool. Okay, that was all gonna go into this one. This will be for if we make it to an ancient city. Probably will need more than that, but that'll do for now. Okay, anything else? We want to enchant the elytra, so let's bring some books. I also wouldn't mind getting a sharpness book for my, oh, we have a mending book. That's good to know. All right, let's just bring all of these. Put the wings on. Put this up here. Rockets. Oh, I needed stuff to sell. Like my... pumpkins and melons and crops. And do I have my fortune pickaxe? I do. It's appropriate for us to harvest our crops more time anyway. My little garden. Alright, hold on. We put carrots, we put wheat seeds, we put potatoes. So what do we do? Carrots, wheat, potatoes, carrots, wheat, potatoes. that's all of that. Put all those up there. Then it goes axe, sword, pickaxe, shovel. It's getting dark again. Grab the pumpkins. Oh, and we can trade sugarcane too. Why am I breaking it with that? Not sugarcane, but paper. We can trade with the librarians. Okay. Seep. I want to drop. I'm gonna drop Sleepy Mulder, since that's all he's been lately. Ooh, okay, I'm gonna wait and actually see if I land this time. I always miss it when I land. Yeah. Bring it. Oh no! I didn't land. Unfortunate. Unfortunate. Alright, it's 12:30. Let's see. We've got to go find... We've got to go get the books. We've got to go get a couple books. Fly. Fly. There we go. You can see all the things everyone built again. Over there's Val's church with the salmon. The Church of the Big Salmon. That's Loy's Tower. If you want to know anything about the other people on the Bedrock Legends server, if you do just exclamation legends, you'll see a list of everybody who is part of this. That's Grumpy's tree. That's Jen's dragon. I believe that's Puggy's house. Oh, I like all this. This looks really cute. All the crops. I love it. Oh, and what's this? Cute. And then up here, this is the community iron farm. Okay, we've got a little bit of selling to do. You buy pumpkins. Anything we need to repair? Doesn't look like it. Sell that to you. I set off a rocket. Sorry. Okay, all that. I can sell anything else to you. We should probably buy a few more carrots while we're here. Who else buys carrots? Do you buy carrots? Carrot trade. Ding. Oh, we're level 30 again. How nice. Alright, I'm going to put... Oh, there's a ton of emeralds here. Do you think anyone would care if I took some? Put those there. Do any of you guys buy wheat? No? I probably brought the wheat with me for no reason. Alright, we're gonna turn our sugarcane into paper. It wasn't much, but we can still sell it. Paper. And I can do that. Light off more rockets. Wasting things. Good job, me. Paper. Okay. Alright, we need an Unbreaking 3 book. Mending. Sharpness 3. I'm actually considering adding more sharpness to this. Let's buy 2 of those. This already has Unbreaking and Mending. Okay. We should buy a few more carrots. Protection 4. Feather falling. Do we not have an Unbreaking 3 guy? Unbreaking 3. Okay. I wanted to put that on the wings. Unbreaking 3. Okay, so let's do a little bit of enchanting here. We're going to combine the Unbreaking and the Mending. This border. Unbreaking and Mending. Put that on the wings. Okay, that's good. Now I want to combine these 2 Sharpness 3 books. So that's Sharpness 4. Does sharpness 5 exist? Sharpness 5 exists. Yes. Let's combine these two. Oh, Zero's on. Hey, Zero. Hello. Buy 2 more sharpness 3 books. Sharpness 3, sharpness 3. That and that. That plus that. And then this plus that. There we go. Okay. That's good. So if we can't use our sword, we can use our axe. No, we're not making another sword. I'm preparing for tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be thadathon. A potentially 12-hour stream where we're going to do all of the scary things. And there's going to be a debuff wheel that will spin for a certain amount of bits. So I'm preparing for the worst case scenarios, in which case I can't use my sword. I don't know what we're going to do if I can't use my bow. That's going to be really unfortunate. Let's hope that doesn't happen. Let's hope people aren't mean to me. Alright, keep those potatoes. I want to buy more carrots, just in case we need them. Carrots. Thank you, thank you. I was gonna put away something. Where's my... Is this the one I've been keeping the extra food in? No? I don't have extra food in here? Okay, extra stack just in case. That way we're prepared for that. Okay, what else do we need? We need to go find... Let's put the extra wings in here. We need to go find a village where we're going to do the first raid. Anything else I brought to sell? Got books, so that's all done. All right, I think we're off. Though I totally didn't. All right, I'm thinking. All right, we're gonna fly. We're gonna go and find a village where we're gonna do the raid tomorrow. So let's go past the house in this general direction and see if we can find a village that's not like built into a cliffside. Could make one, just need a villager and a bed. Yeah. I don't want to move villagers. I'm gonna just find an actual village. I feel like... I don't remember ever doing a raid before, so I'm pretty sure this will be my first raid. And I feel like we should do it, like, legit in a way, kinda, with some safety measures put into place. I set ridiculous requirements for myself sometimes. And this is all part of prep for tomorrow. Finding the village where we're gonna do it. Oh, and I meant to get more emeralds so that we could potentially trade with a cartographer and get maps for the other stuff we might do tomorrow. I guess if we get to that point, we'll just leave the maps for then. We'll figure out how to find the trial chambers and potentially a mansion. I don't know if anyone's been to a mansion. I haven't seen anybody in a mansion. I wonder. Oh, we have the trim? I didn't even know there was a trim specific to the mansion. That makes sense. Someone must have, yeah. Maybe not like on a stream I was watching or whatever. Oh my god, Zeroed, I almost died to a zombified piglin earlier. He walked in front of me when I was fighting some blazes. And I hit him. And he hit back really hard. And I think I was also taking some damage from the blazes at the same time. It was scary. I almost died. I almost died. No dying. We came very close. I thought I was done for. I thought it was over. I don't think we got a clip of it, though. I don't think anyone clipped it. And I was too frazzled to even think about clipping it. Oh, we should sleep. Would you mind? Do you have a second to sleep? To prevent dying? Oh, I'm really far from home now. Thank you, Zero. I love this server. I'm really sad that it's coming to an end. But I guess all good things must come to an end. And then we can return to less deadly Minecraft. Which the next update's coming out, guys. The next update is going to be released, the drop, or what are they calling it? December 3rd. So we're going to try the thing where you clear some of the chunks on an existing world and hope that we can get some pale forest in our lives. All right, let's go the other way, I guess. We're getting pretty far from home, so we don't need to go 5,000 blocks out for our first raid. There's got to be a village. That's trees. Oh, we got an incoming ad break, folks. I feel like we just had an ad break. Is it just me, or is Twitch, like, ridiculous with the ads today? I ran an ad break when the starting soon screen was up, and then 20 minutes into stream, we had another ad break. It was frustrating. And then I forgot to run an ad break when I went on break, so we got one immediately after I came back. But I feel like we just had one like 20 minutes ago. Twitch does what it wants. Where are all the villages? Have we even passed one? Oh, I'm so excited to eat some pie. We have so much pie in the fridge right now. Best part of Thanksgiving, hands down. The pie. Mashed potatoes are great too. Don't get me wrong. Turkey's fine. Cranberry sauce? Love cranberry sauce. I think it's my favorite side. Did everybody have a nice holiday if you celebrate? I hope so. And if you did, what's the most delicious thing you ate yesterday? I want to hear about it. Oh, I like this cliff. This is nice. That looks so natural. All right, where are all the villages? Where have all the villages gone? Do, 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 do. Is that a ruined portal, it looks like? Or maybe not ruined? Is it ruined? I can't tell from here. Oh, it's ruined. Oh, it's ruined, alright. Is there anything in it? How's my wings? Out of a quarter down. Oh. This seems like a decent village for it. There's a Mulder cat. There's hills, but like, not too many. Hey, Chris, how are you? Hello, hello. I watched Rhodey cook her meal yesterday. Oh, I saw she went live, but I was in the middle of my own festivities. She made some perfect Yorkshire puddings. Oh, that's nice. I saw a picture of her spread, but I wasn't able to tune in. And we're on break. I don't know who can hear me anymore, but we're on an ad break, unfortunately. And I'm not taking a break because we're already at almost 1 o'clock. I can't keep going too much longer. But I think this is where we're going to do the raid tomorrow. So I'm going to write down these coordinates. -860, negative 2018. 2018 was a good year. Okay, we know where we're doing the raid tomorrow. We've got leaves, so we'll set up a little platform for ourselves to be on so that maybe we're relatively safe. Hopefully there's not a bunch of caves underneath us. I know that's a pain when people are doing raids. But I think this all in all will be okay. But yeah, this is where we'll do our raid. Is there a cartographer here? Can we try to get one of the We can make a cartographer. We brought the cartography tables. I just don't know if we'll have... Oh, I didn't bring any paper for the maps. Maybe we'll worry about that tomorrow. If it comes down to trying to find a mansion. Yes! Zeroed. Oh my god. So, after I got the blaze rods and the gas tier. I got the blaze rods. Plenty of blaze rods. We got our wither skeleton skulls. All 3 of them. It took a little while. We went back into the nether to get the gas tiers. And the first or second ghast I killed dropped all 4 tiers. There were just 4 of them in my inventory after I killed that guy. It was the luckiest I think I've ever been. Which I didn't even know they could drop that many, but I didn't have any and suddenly I had 4, so I guess that's how it works. Sometimes when you're really lucky. So yes, we got all 4 ghast tiers, we got all 3 wither skulls. We have, hold on, let me grab my ender chest. So these are my potions. Nope, that's fireworks. We got potions for tomorrow. We got some water breathing in case we get to the point where we do a water temple. We've got strength for all the big scary things. We've got fire resistance because we might have to go find a bastion if we get through everything else. What do you mean all that nonsense you dealt with last night? So we got potions, and then in this one we've got We've got the skeletons, the weather skeleton skulls. We've got the soul sand. I've got the omen for summoning, triggering the raid. Some leaves to make some blocks. We've got this in case we end up getting to the ancient city portion, which is the last thing on my list. We'll see if we get to that point. We've got the end crystals, a pumpkin, and some water buckets for our ender dragon. We're pretty prepped, I think. I can't think of anything else. Let's go through my list. So we needed ominous bottles and to find a village and some leaves for the raid. So check, check, check. For the dragon, we needed the end crystals. So we needed gas, tears, glass, and eyes of ender. Check. Done. The wither, we needed the skulls and the 4 soul sand. 4 soul sand. More than 4. Check. We don't have the map for the trial chamber or the mansion, but we'll worry about that when we get to it tomorrow. We got water breathing potions for the potential water temple, as well as some soul sand in case we can't use potions and we need to breathe. I think that's how that works. Or should it be magma blocks? Oh crap, I don't know. Maybe we should put magma blocks in there too, just in case. For the bastion, we needed fire res. We got fire resistance. And we got some wool in case we get to the ancient city. I'm not too confident on those last few things. But I think we're pretty prepared. Let me get my silk touch. Excuse me, chicken. Do you sleep in this house? Nope, there's no bed in this house. There's no bed in this house. There's no bed in this house. Where's the beds? I have a bed. Why am I running around? I has bed. Sleepy times. Okay. What goes there? That's my food. Alright, let's go back home. So, we need to get this direction. And we'll go over here to this this portal. We'll take a magma block from there to put in with our stuff just in case. But I got the wheel all set up. I've got all the goals set up for tomorrow to have on screen. I'm just gonna take a couple of these. Probably have some at home, but that's fine. I'll put this in here. The only thing I can think of that might be extra bad is if we don't have the ability to use our bow during the wither fight. I'm really hoping people don't want to spin the debuff wheel too much, because I'll be sad. We've got 12 golden apples, which isn't a lot of golden apples, and they're not enchanted, but it's better than nothing. It did save our butts. I'm trying to fly with my carrots. It saved our butt with the piglins. I think we would have died if we didn't eat that apple. How do I get home? Alright, that's going towards 0. Yeah, that number's getting lower to 0, or higher technically, because it's negative to going toward the positive range. Okay, let's go home. And fighting a water temple won't be hard, because you just fly over the ocean and you find them. I'm hoping we don't have to do that. I don't really want to fight any Ender Guardians, but it might happen. You never know. We'll see how tomorrow goes. As a few people have pointed out, since we'll have the ability to take time off the timer, we could start with the 2-hour timer and have somebody donate enough to just end the stream right then and there. And thadathon 2024 will be over in a matter of minutes. Imagine? I hope nobody would do that. That would be pretty crappy to not even have the opportunity to do any of the scary things. But on the bright side, we'd be alive. Oh, is that my house? Right there? That was quick. can see my paths from pretty far away, which is nice. I'm happy with what we made here, though. I'm sad it's coming to an end. But I really like this waterfall. I'm pretty happy with how the waterfall came out. I've never, like, made a giant waterfall like that. I've only ever made, like, tiny fish ponds and stuff before. So I'm really happy with that. And the pond, you know, our little fishing hut. We made a little stable the other day, so our horse and our donkey have a place to live. And then my house. My house. Should we take a few pictures before we wrap up today? Just in case we don't get to tomorrow. Alright, let's see. How do we want to do this? I want some pictures with my house. Let's take the shield off. Do I have a free hand? Hold on. Let's be quick about it. Let's see if I can get the whole thing. Okay. Let's do first person and try to get a shot of all this. It'd be nice to get like a nighttime shot of this with the sun setting behind it. What if we come like right over here? Oh, you can't see the fishing hut that way. All right, let's see. Do I have any blocks on me? I do. I do have some blocks. Alright, I think maybe if we go right about here and pillar up a bit. Yeah, that'll be nice. Where's the sun? Oh, it's about to be sunset. That'll be perfect. I want a nice sunset shot of this. Actually, I'd like to take a recording of this, but I should probably do that on my own. And also my camera's a mess again. Why is it so dark? Configure video. Bring that up a little bit. That. A little bit more of that. Nope. Oh god, too much. The light's just terrible. That's why it looks so bad. But yeah, I'd like to take a time, not a time lapse, but like a longer video of it and add this to my little highlight video that I have. Where's the sun? It's still going. We could probably do that right now. We're gonna do that. All right, hold on. Bear with me. I'm still here. We can still talk. I'm just taking a time lapse real quick. Not a time lapse, a longer video. Hopefully nothing comes up and scares us. But we're gonna take a little video. Haha! It's not on this screen. This is just the screen and I'm gonna mute this and you won't be able to hear it. Alright, the sun should start setting. Zeroed, if you're listening, I hope you don't sleep because I really want to get a sunset video. But look at that. Oh, I'm so proud of this. Thank you all for being here as I've done this whole Legends thing. It's been honestly a blast, and I've never felt so motivated to stream. Like, I've been so excited to stream. Streaming's fun and all that, but like, I've been like waking up in the morning, I'm like, I want to stream today. I want to stream today. I want to stream today. I want to make the most of the time on the server. I may have started this a little too soon. I think the sun is just starting to come into the top corner. We'll have a nice long time lapse of it. Not time lapse. It's just a video. We don't speed it up. It's not a time lapse. Zeri, I see. Thank you for the bits earlier, even though there wouldn't be a creeper out here. I swear to God, if I die to a creeper while trying to take our video of the sunset over the mountains, that would really suck. That would be terrible. Can you imagine? All right, the sun's starting to go down. Get behind those mountains. I like this angle, though. You can see the fishing hut, the bridge, some of the details on the pond, and the whole waterfall, most importantly. As well as this cow. This cow that's just enjoying the scenery. Oh, and the cow's gone. Goodbye, cow. We probably should have put our shield back on. And our clothes. Did I just hear like an Enderman sound? What was that? Was that in the song? I hope it was in the song. Alright, sunset. Where's the color? Come on, color. Guess it's not fully sunset yet because the sun's going behind the mountain. This is peaceful though, huh? So this is literally how... Did I just move the mouse? No, I don't think I did. This is literally how I've been filming the shots for the BRB screen and stuff. Just standing somewhere like this and recording. This is the magic behind it. Alright. Sky's looking pretty. This is how we die. Can you imagine? Can you imagine this is how we die? To a creeper explosion? Alright. Wait for the stars to start to come out, and then we'll end it. Alright. Right. 1, 2, 3. There. Okay, let's go sleep. And then I'll stop the recording. We're still going. Oh, I think I see a creeper over there. Get in the house. Get in the house. Sleep in the bed. Stop the recording. Okay. Thank you for your patience. You got to see a little... Oh, dang it. You got to see a little glimpse behind the things. The things we do. The things we do for love of Minecraft. There's a monster over there. Let's get rid of this little pillar here. Oh, we would have been fine from monsters. They wouldn't have been able to reach us up there, I don't think. Maybe a skeleton could have pushed us off. But I'm excited to add that to the video. Oh. Okay. I don't think there's anything else we need to do today. We got more food. We've got, we could repair the wings, which maybe if we take stuff out of the furnace here, that'll be enough. Let's see if that's enough to repair our wings. Not quite. We do have a few more bottles. I'm gonna put the gold away in here. That's our extra gold. Just in case. We want to make some more, like, apples along the way, maybe. I guess there's some stuff we could put away. Maybe we'll put the books in here just in case we need those. My emeralds. Okay, this can stay on my hotbar. If we need to, we might need the cartography tables, so I'm going to put those in the preparation box as well. Just in case. We could do one more shearing of the sheep. Let's go do one more shearing of the sheep. In case we make it to the ancient city portion of tomorrow. I will be absolutely stunned. Stunned if we make it to that point. I think it is highly unlikely we end up having to go raid an ancient city. But I want to have wool in case we do. You know what? One last time we're gonna get our honeycomb too. One last time. Okay. Honeycomb can go up there. The wool can go in here. Anything else? Should we put a couple more stacks of blocks in here in case we need those? Where's all? Do I just like not have a lot of cobble? It was like all deep slate cobble. Okay, that's fine. We'll just take deep slate then. Cobble, deep slate. That's more than we need. We'll take 3 stacks of it. That's way more than we'll need. Cobble deep slate, just in case we need blocks. I really think that's all we can do. I don't think there's anything else we have. We'll have our chest plate on our hotbar along with the apples, some blocks in case we need to block something. One of these we might end up replacing with potions if we have that. Probably the water bucket one we'll swap out with potions as we go. Let's replenish the rockets here. Might need more rockets. But that should at least get us to the raid village. And I was like, what is that on fire? It's just candles. Nothing to be worried about. I probably won't need the shears, but let's leave the shears in here. Do I have shears in there? We have iron if we need to make more. All right, that's it. We're done. We're done. This is as prepared for tomorrow as I think we can be. Okay. Pat pat for Mulder, pat pat for Scully, pat pat for the puppa. Let's just go stand in the bedroom. We'll log out. And we're gonna call it for today. But I really hope that you guys will stop by at some point for thadathon tomorrow. Starting at about 9 a.m. Eastern tomorrow, we're gonna go for up to 12 hours. I got a timer set up. We got the Wheel of Misfortune set up. I'm really excited. I'm excited and I'm terrified. I'm so scared. I'm so scared, but I'm also so excited. It's going to be a lot of fun, I think. And if you don't want thadathon to happen, you can be mean and, you know, give me money so that we don't go any further. We could just end stream immediately. Please don't do that. Please don't do that. I want us to actually do the challenges. It'll be a lot of fun and I'll feel like I'm actually a decent Minecrafter maybe if I do survive the scary things. Some of the scary things, I'll be happy if I survive the raid. That's all I did. Also, we do now have a Discord. I was really hesitant to make one. I don't know why. I just didn't think people would want to join a Discord for me. But we have one now. We have one now. I'm going to post all the details about tomorrow in there so everybody will see in detail how everything's going to work. We do have commands for tomorrow to also explain like how the wheel will work and all that. Yes, we have a Discord that Thad is ignoring. I have not looked at it during stream. Well, once or twice, but not since then. So, yeah, Feel free to join the Discord. Here's all the socials, actually. There we go. I'm on YouTube. That's where you can find my VODs. Today's VOD will be posted for tomorrow morning. I usually have it scheduled to post the following morning. So you'll catch this VOD and hopefully tomorrow's VOD. Though if we get to the 12 hours, I don't know how long of a video I can upload or if I can even download that. And I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how that goes. But that's where you can find my VODs. I'm also on Instagram, though I don't share too much there, but I do post when I'm going live. The same thing with Blue Sky. I post when I go live there. We have Discord now, and I do have a fourth wall. That's where all the tipping will go through tomorrow. If you want to tip, it'll be $10. We'll either take away a debuff or you can take away time from the stream. So that's the link for that. Yeah, that's everything. That's everything for today. I'm going to add the little video we just took to my BRB screen and re-upload that. So that'll be our new BRB screen moving forward. But for today, that's gonna do it. That's gonna do it for today. But again, I hope to see you all here for thadathon at some point tomorrow, starting 9 a.m. Eastern. And let's see who's on. Let's take a little look. Nobody from the Legends team is on. Is there anybody else playing Minecraft that we would like to raid? Let's see here. Anybody standing out to me? Don't want to go somewhere that's too big. That intimidates me. And I'm like, hi, it's me and my 5 friends. That's not what I sound like. I don't think that's what I sound like. That's not what I sound like, right? All right, I'm not seeing any Minecrafters that I feel like raiding. So we're not gonna go to a Minecrafter. We're gonna go to my buddy, my pal, my favorite guitarist, Will Fox. The one, the only. It's a lot less PG over there, just a warning. And it's a bit louder. Because it's usually metal. It's usually metal that he's playing. But I do mod for Will Fox, and I've also made him a few little emotes. So that's a thing. Let's go say hello to Will. Grab your raid calls here. Hot and fresh raid calls. If you got the emotes, you can use that second one there. It'll look a little something like that. Before we go, please take a big old sip of water. Hydration is so important. Like, we don't realize just how so important. So important. Please drink some water. Hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. Make sure you're taking care of yourselves. Have you eaten today? Have you taken any medications you're supposed to take? Listen to your body. Make sure you're resting and doing what you need to do to take care of yourself. And most of all, make sure you're being kind, okay? Do Doritos count as hydrating? I think that Doritos are technically dehydrating, but they are also delicious. Okay, I'm gonna end it here. I hope to see you all tomorrow for thadathon on Saturday. Take care of yourselves. Let's go say hi to Will. All right, bye!